Hi there, let's have a poetic Halloween session. By the way, I'm Jason Chankoko, your host, and I am a college instructor slash writer. The very first poem is entitled The Possession. I wrote this early 2015 and this got published in the Sunday Magazine here in the Philippines on February 4, 2017. It starts with a quote from a man named Mark, a blind plaza kiosco masseur slash street philosopher. He says, "The possessed always becomes violent. We have yet to see a case of non-violent devil possession." The possession. The master was a light beam that pierced her ovaries and egg cells, as if cooking them into amino acids and DNA to later differentiate into muscles, fats, and bones in her cervix. Perhaps it explains the propensity for compassion, having stayed too long in the human womb. He incubated into humanity, even longed for the fear and pain it entailed. But not for me, he thinks to himself. For him, light becoming flesh is an aberration. Like right now, he does not own this weight. He does not own these eyes, only the visions. Who could he be? Even his thoughts travel slower than before, having to pass through faulty electrical wirings of nerves, veins, breath, heartbeat, and alphanumerics of discourse. He struggles to take his first step. Speed, no longer melting time into illusion. There is now the physics of wings and sound. He closes his eyes to feign his being. But alas, forced death only makes him more alive. After a few seconds, taste starts to swim like a fish inside his mouth, and he himself becomes all skin, swimming in the sea of touch. I am here. Who could I be this time? He asks. For unlike the master, he is earthen light turned to flesh in a factory instant. Just like that. Perhaps even faster than the fall. So he starts to walk, and oh, he wears coat and tie and a robe, and oh, he carries an attache case. He enters a room full of people. All rise, he hears. And almost dutifully, everyone rises with the sun. He looks at the crowd, now pulsating with anticipation, in this room, bordered with dusty steel cabinets and papers. He opens the attache case and sees a document neatly arranged. Judgment. It says, A young lady comes to get it. With this, he lights up, aware at last. He hands over the documents to her, thinking, aha! The flesh trying to be light. Here, there, then, now, like justice. As the woman starts to read the document, he opens the attache case again and finds it empty. So he materializes 2 government-issued Glock pistols as a matter of course, and then turns to the crowd. Counsel for the accused, counsel for the defense, approach the bench. He orders while loading the guns. 2 bespectacled fellows come to him with reverence, and he hands the guns to them. The 2 lawyers look at each other in disbelief. He smiles approvingly, handing them more magazines and bullet boxes. Fiat lux, let there be light, he says. The lawyers, now naked owners of their weight and eyes, take their cue, pointing the pistols at their clients. The cops and the sheriff shut the doors, nodding in agreement. Ba-ba-ba-ba-bang! The litigants are dead. Ba-ba-ba-ba-bang! The court spectators scamper for safety. But the cops and the sheriff joins in the affray. Ba-ba-ba-bang! With everyone dead, the lawyers, the cops, and the sheriff approach the bench and find that the judge is now having coffee, enjoying the spectacle. So they shoot him in the face until the magazines are empty. They hit him with the butt of their guns. They could hear people rushing outside the door. So they turn to the young lady, still holding the judgment she was reading earlier, now with a hole between her blank eyes. They kiss the blood off her mouth, as if a ritual. They undress her, kiss her breasts, kiss her vulva. Then they take turns entering her. Appeased, they reload, smiling at each other, and shatter their own skulls as the SWAT team breaks the door open. The crime operatives gather guns and bodies and powder the corners for prints, then go to a nearby convenience store for donuts and soda. No light beam will pierce the dead lady's ovaries and eggs, cells, except perhaps the microscope at the crime laboratory. But a thought wakes up in her cervix, cooking into amino acids, DNA, muscles, fats, and bones. I am here, and I know who I am this time, he thinks to himself. The Possession. The second poem is entitled The Witness. This poem got published in Philippines Graphic in October 19, 2015. It starts with a quote from Ryunosuke Akutagawa, a quote from the story or the short story In a Grove. Have such cursed words ever struck a human ear even once? Ryunosuke Akutagawa, In a Grove. The Witness. Dead samurai here, clotted blood, no sword, no knife, the woodcutters said. I saw him alive, his wife on a horse. He walked well armed, the monk said. This robber did it. He has the victim's arrows and horse, the cop said. You didn't catch me, you dumb cop. My stomach hurt. I had to stop. And his wife fucked me, then wished him dead. We crossed swords. Tajomaru laughed. That robber raped me, but husband thought me dirty. Him I stabbed. She sobbed. Liar, said the ghost. Seppuku, after you left. Who removed the knife? Then all fell silent as the reader turned the page, bloody knife in hand. The Witness. The third poem is entitled Nekro-Mansa. This poem came out in the Sunday Inquirer Magazine and also in Philippine Panorama. This came out in the Sunday Inquirer Magazine on August 1, 2004, while it also came out in Philippine Panorama 2003, November 1, I think, November 1. This also got printed in an anthology called Sawi. Nekro-Mansa. Paralumang puti sa bahay ng sakit. Haplos na ginhawa ang bawat mong dampi. May dagta ng sugat ang iyong pag-ibig. Pag-irog ko sa iyong hindi mo malirip, sa laman ng dunong mo na ipagtahi. Paralumang puti sa bahay ng sakit. Makirot kong rubdob na nananahimik, may mukhang kilalang panibughot sidhi. May dagta ng sugat ang iyong pag-ibig. Ano pat hiwagang hindi mapapahid, ng luhat hinayang ang ikay masawit. Paralumang puti sa bahay ng sakit. Bulak na piniga itong aking dibdib, nang ikay gayatin ng aking daliri. May dagta ng sugat ang iyong pag-ibig. Bangkay kang marahang nilambing ng awit, ng kumpas ay talim sa bitukang usli. Paralumang puti sa bahay ng sakit. May dagta ng sugat ang iyong pag-ibig. Nekro-Mansa. Ito po ang Hagbayon channel. This is our poetic Halloween session. This channel is devoted to current events, literature, poetry, rock music, blade sculpture, the outdoors, prepping, and survivalism. Remember, the pen is mightier with a sword.